Dad, are you okay? I can't see now.
Everybody move back! Give us space!
Please, my stomach, something is wrong.
The bell had not finished ringing when Ada's knees buckled. It happened so fast that at first, nobody understood what they were seeing. 1 second, she was standing in line with the other students, hands clasped behind her back, eyes fixed on the dusty assembly ground. The next, her books slipped from her fingers, hit the ground with a dull slap, and she followed them, hard. "Ada!" someone screamed. Gasps tore through the assembly like fire through dry grass. The principal's voice faltered mid-speech. Students surged forward, then froze, unsure if they were allowed to move. Ada lay on the ground, her body twitching slightly, her breath shallow and uneven. The sun hung low but already burned her skin. Her chest rose once. Twice. Then her face twisted, and a thin cry escaped her lips. "My stomach," she whispered. "Please, my stomach." A female teacher broke formation and ran toward her. When she knelt, she saw it, the dark stain spreading on the back of Ada's uniform skirt. "Oh my God," the teacher breathed. "Someone get water. Now." Another teacher shouted for space. The students whispered, voices overlapping. "Did she faint? Is it blood? Is she sick? Why is she holding her stomach like that?" Ada tried to sit up, but pain ripped through her again, sharp and unforgiving. She cried out, clutching herself as tears streamed down her temples into the red earth. "I can't," she sobbed. "It hurts. It hurts so much." The principal finally moved. "Call her parents. Get the car. Now." By the time Ada was lifted into the school vehicle, her vision was blurring in and out. Faces floated above her, concerned, curious, afraid. She caught fragments of voices, like pieces of a broken mirror. "She's too young. This is serious. What kind of sickness does this?" She closed her eyes. When she opened them again, the smell hit her first, antiseptic, metal, something sharp that made her stomach turn. A ceiling fan spun lazily above her. Her throat felt dry. Her body felt heavy, like it no longer belonged to her. "Mama," she croaked. A chair scraped the floor. Her mother rushed to her side, eyes swollen and red, wrapper hastily tied, hair half covered with a scarf she must have grabbed in a hurry. "Ada," her mother whispered, gripping her hand. "My child. Thank God you're awake." Ada tried to smile, but her lips trembled. "Mama, I was scared." "I know," her mother said, voice cracking. "I'm here now." A nurse entered quietly, followed by a doctor with tired eyes. He glanced at a chart, then at Ada, then at her mother. "We ran some tests," he said gently. Ada's heart pounded. She felt it everywhere, in her ears, her throat, her fingertips. Her mother straightened. "Doctor, what is wrong with my daughter?" The doctor hesitated for a second too long. "She's pregnant." The words fell into the room and shattered everything. Ada's mother blinked. Once. Twice. Then she laughed, a short, sharp sound that didn't belong there. "That's not funny," she said. "My daughter is in school. She's a child." The doctor didn't smile. "I'm sorry," he said. "She's about 4 months along." The world tilted. Ada felt like she was sinking, falling inward, like a hole had opened inside her chest and everything good was being dragged into it. Her mother's grip loosened. "No," her mother whispered. "No, no, no." She turned to Ada slowly. Too slowly. "Ada," she said. "Look at me." Ada couldn't. Her eyes burned with tears she had been holding back for months, tears she had trained herself not to cry. "Mama," she started. Her mother pulled her hand away as if burned. "Is this true?" Silence stretched between them, thick and choking. "Ada," her mother shouted. "Answer me." Ada nodded. "Just once." The slap came fast and loud. The sound echoed against the clinic walls. Ada's head snapped to the side. Tears spilled freely now, unstoppable. "How could you?" her mother cried, stepping back. "How could you do this to me?" "I didn't mean to," Ada sobbed. "Mama, I was scared." "Scared?" her mother laughed bitterly. "Were you scared when you were opening your legs? Were you scared then?" The nurse shifted uncomfortably. "Ma, please. Leave us," Ada's mother snapped. The nurse hesitated, then nodded and stepped outside. The doctor followed. The door closed. Ada curled slightly on the bed, clutching her stomach protectively now, instinctively. Her mother paced the small room like a trapped animal. "Do you know what people will say?" her mother continued. "Do you know what this will do to us?" "I wanted to tell you," Ada whispered. "I tried." "When?" her mother demanded. "When?" "After the baby came out." Ada swallowed hard. "I was afraid you would hate me." Her mother stopped pacing. She looked at Ada then, not with anger, but something worse. Disappointment. Fear. "Hate you," she repeated softly. "You think this is about hate?" She sank into the chair, suddenly exhausted. "Who is responsible?" Ada's fingers tightened in the bedsheet. Her heart raced again. "I can't say," she murmured. Her mother's eyes snapped up. "What do you mean you can't say?" Ada shook her head. "Please don't ask me." "Ask you?" Her mother rose again. "Ada, someone did this to you. Someone must answer for it." Ada turned her face toward the wall. "Please, Mama." Silence filled the room again, heavier this time. When they left the clinic hours later, Ada wore an oversized sweater her mother had borrowed from a nurse. It hid her body, but not the whispers. People stared. Some looked away quickly. Others didn't bother. On the ride home, neither of them spoke. The car rattled over potholes. Ada watched the streets she had walked every day to school, familiar, suddenly hostile. At home, her mother sat on the bed and covered her face. "What will I tell your school?" she asked quietly. Ada's throat tightened. "I want to go back." Her mother laughed without humor. "Go back where?" "I want to finish school," Ada said, her voice shaking but firm. "Please." Her mother looked at her like she was seeing her for the first time. "Ada," she said slowly, "your life has changed." Ada pressed her palm to her stomach, feeling the faintest flutter beneath her skin. "I know," she whispered. "But I don't want it to end." Outside, the school bell rang in the distance, calling students back to class. Ada sat in silence and listened, knowing that everything she was, and everything she hoped to be, was now standing on the edge of something terrifying. The next morning, Ada woke up before dawn out of habit. For a few seconds, she forgot. Her body moved on instinct, she reached for her uniform, swung her legs off the bed, and froze. The uniform hung on the nail by the wall, clean, neatly pressed, waiting for a body that no longer fit inside it the same way. Reality rushed back in. Her stomach felt tight, not with pain this time, but with fear. She sat on the edge of the bed and listened to the sounds outside. Footsteps. Laughter. The familiar chatter of students walking to school. Every sound felt like a reminder that the world was moving on without her. "Ada." Her mother's voice came from the doorway. Flat. Controlled. Too controlled. "Yes, Mama." "Eat something." Ada looked at the bowl of pap on the small table. The smell made her nauseous. "I'm not hungry." Her mother didn't argue. She sat opposite her, hands folded. "I went to your school yesterday," she said. Ada's heart skipped. "What did they say?" Her mother exhaled slowly. The principal said you should stay home for now. For now. Ada echoed, hope flickering. She said it's not appropriate for a pregnant girl to be among other students. Ada swallowed. Did she say how long? Her mother's jaw tightened. Until after you give birth. The words landed like stones. That's months, Ada whispered. Mama, I'll miss my exams. Her mother looked away. That is not their concern. Ada felt tears rising again, hot and angry this time. But it's my future. Her mother's voice snapped. Your future. Ada, you should have thought of that earlier. I did, Ada said quickly. I think about it every day. Then why are we here? Her mother demanded. Ada opened her mouth, then closed it. There was no answer that would satisfy anyone. Later that morning, a knock came at the door. Ada's mother opened it to find two women standing outside. Neighbors. Curious eyes masked as concern. We heard Ada fainted, one of them said. We came to check on her. Ada stood frozen in the background. Oh, the other woman added, lowering her voice but not enough, so it's true. Ada felt her chest tighten. Her mother stepped forward. My daughter is resting. The women exchanged looks. These children of nowadays, one muttered. No fear. Ada retreated into her room and closed the door, but the words followed her. By afternoon, the whispers had grown teeth. Her phone buzzed non-stop. Messages from classmates. Some pretending to care. Is it true? They said you're pregnant. Who did it? Why didn't you tell us? Then the other ones came. You're a disgrace. No wonder you always acted holy. You think you're better than us? Ada turned the phone off and buried it under her pillow. She pressed her hands to her ears, but silence was worse. Silence meant thinking. Thinking meant remembering. She remembered the first time she realized something was wrong. The missed period. The fear that sat heavy in her stomach. The denial. The counting of days. The prayer whispered every night. Please, God. Just this once. She remembered standing in the bathroom, staring at the test, her knees shaking as the lines appeared. 2 lines. Her breath had left her body completely. She slid down the wall and cried without sound. No one had warned her that fear could be that loud. The days that followed were a blur of hiding and pretending. Baggy clothes. Forced smiles. Avoiding mirrors. Avoiding her mother's eyes. She told herself she would find a solution. She told herself she still had time. She was wrong. That evening, the school sent a letter. Her mother read it out loud, her voice hardening with every sentence. Due to recent developments, she read, the school management has decided that Ada will be placed on an indefinite leave. Ada's hands trembled. Until such time as her condition no longer poses a moral or disciplinary concern. Ada stood up. They think I'm a disease. Her mother folded the paper. They think you are a bad example. Ada felt something break inside her, not loudly, but completely. The next day, she couldn't take it anymore. She put on her uniform. Her mother caught her at the door. Where are you going? To school. Her mother blocked the doorway. Have you lost your mind? I just want to talk to them, Ada said, her voice shaking. They can't just erase me. They already have, her mother replied. Ada stepped back, tears spilling freely now. Mama, please. Her mother's voice softened for the first time. Ada, don't make this harder. It's already hard, Ada cried. I did something wrong, yes, but does that mean my life should stop? Her mother didn't answer. Ada stayed home. From her window, she watched the sun move across the sky, marking time she was no longer allowed to keep. Days passed. Her belly began to show slightly, no longer something she could deny even to herself. She wore loose dresses. She avoided mirrors. One afternoon, a group of girls passed her house laughing. She recognized their voices. Her classmates. She thinks she can still come back, one said. Imagine sitting next to her, another replied. As if it's contagious. Ada sank onto her bed, hugging her knees. I didn't plan this, she whispered to the empty room. I didn't. That night, she overheard her mother crying in the next room. I tried, her mother sobbed into the phone. I raised her well. I don't know where I failed. Ada pressed her face into her pillow to muffle her own sobs. The weight of shame settled over the house like dust, thin, invisible, everywhere. By the end of the week, Ada stopped counting days. She measured time by the sound of the school bell she could still hear faintly every morning and afternoon. Each ring told her the same thing. You are being left behind. And as the world continued without her, Ada began to understand something terrifying. Losing her education was not a threat anymore. It was already happening. Ada stopped going outside. At first, it was just for a day. Then 2. Then it became easier to stay in her room, where the walls didn't look at her with judgment and the air didn't carry whispers. The window stayed shut. The curtains stayed drawn. Morning and night blurred into each other until time felt meaningless. Her body changed quietly but relentlessly. Her belly grew rounder, firmer, undeniable. Sometimes she placed her hand there without thinking, and when she felt movement, small, fluttering, alive, her breath caught every single time. I'm sorry, she whispered one night. I didn't know how to protect you. Her mother noticed the silence. You don't talk anymore, she said one evening as Ada pushed food around her plate. What is there to say? Ada replied. Her mother frowned. You still have a mouth. Ada's voice broke. But nobody wants to hear me. Her mother looked at her for a long moment, then stood up and cleared the plates without another word. The distance between them grew. Not from hatred, but helplessness. They existed in the same house, carrying different versions of the same pain. One afternoon, Ada sat on her bed staring at her old notebook stacked neatly in the corner. She picked one up, flipped through the pages filled with careful handwriting, read corrections, encouraging remarks from teachers. Excellent work. Keep it up. You have a bright future. She laughed, a bitter sound that turned into a sob. What future? She asked the empty room. That night, the thoughts came darker. Maybe this is it. Maybe they're right. Maybe I deserve this. She imagined the rest of her life in fragments, dropping out, struggling, becoming another story people used as a warning. Her chest tightened until breathing hurt. She slid off the bed and sat on the floor, back against the wall. I can't do this, she whispered. I'm tired. Her hand drifted to her stomach again, slower this time. I don't even know how to be a mother, she said softly. I don't know anything. A knock came at the door the next morning. Ada didn't move. Another knock. Firmer. Her mother opened the door and froze. Ada's at home, a familiar voice asked. Ada recognized it instantly. She sat up. The door creaked open, and her teacher stepped inside. The same woman who had knelt beside her during assembly. The same woman who had slipped her extra textbooks once and whispered, "Don't waste your mind." Ada, the teacher said gently. Can I come in? Ada nodded, unable to speak. The teacher sat across from her, eyes scanning the room, the closed curtains, the stacked books. You disappeared, she said quietly. They told me to, Ada replied. They told you to stay home, the teacher corrected. They didn't tell you to stop existing. Ada looked down. I heard what happened, the teacher continued. And I'm sorry. Not for the pregnancy. For how people treated you after. Ada's eyes filled. Everyone thinks I'm dirty. The teacher shook her head. No. Everyone is afraid. And afraid people are cruel. She reached into her bag and pulled out books. Ada stared. What are those? Your syllabus, the teacher said. Past questions. Notes. Ada's breath hitched. Why? Because intelligence doesn't disappear because of a mistake, the teacher said firmly. And pregnancy is not stupidity. Ada's tears spilled freely. I wanted to come back, Ada whispered. They said no. I know, the teacher said. I argued. Ada looked up sharply. You did? They didn't listen, the teacher admitted. But I'm not done. Her mother stood in the doorway, watching silently. Mama, Ada said, turning. She brought my books. Her mother hesitated, then stepped forward. What good will books do now? The teacher met her eyes. Your daughter is still capable. She still deserves a future. And what about shame? Her mother asked bitterly. What about what people will say? The teacher replied calmly, people will always talk. But talk doesn't feed a child. Education can. Silence followed. That night, Ada opened a book for the first time in weeks. The words swam at first, her mind rusty, distracted. But slowly, something shifted. Familiar patterns returned. Logic. Understanding. For the first time since the clinic, she felt like herself again. She studied every day after that. Her belly grew. Her confidence flickered, but it didn't disappear. Still, pressure mounted. Relatives began visiting, offering advice that felt like condemnation. You should forget school, one aunt said. Learn a trade. Who will marry her now? Another whispered loudly. Her mother absorbed it all, shoulders slumping further each day. One evening, her mother sat beside her on the bed. Ada, she said quietly. Your aunt found someone who can take you in. Help you with the baby. Ada stiffened. Where? Far, her mother said. You won't be able to continue school. Ada felt panic claw up her throat. No. Mama, please. This house is full of eyes, her mother murmured. Full of judgment. Ada took her mother's hand. If I leave, I won't come back. Her mother closed her eyes. I don't want to lose you, Ada whispered. I've already lost everything else. Her mother pulled her into a hug, sobbing. I don't know how to protect you, she cried. Ada held her tighter. Let me try. The next day, the school called. The principal wanted a meeting. Ada's heart pounded as they walked through the school gates weeks later. Eyes followed her. Whispers rose. Isn't that her? She's really bold. Look at her stomach. Ada straightened her back and kept walking. She was tired of shrinking. Inside the office, adults sat in a semicircle. Faces stern. Unyielding. Ada stood in the middle, hands clasped. This meeting, the principal began, is to determine what is best for the school. Ada swallowed. What about what's best for me? She asked quietly. The room fell silent. And in that silence, Ada realized something important. This was no longer about permission. It was about fighting for the right to exist. The principal cleared her throat, folding her hands on the desk as if that alone could control the room. Ada, she said, this situation is unfortunate. But the school must think of its reputation. Ada felt heat rise in her chest. So my body is a threat to your reputation? Murmurs rippled through the room. Watch your tone, one of the board members snapped. Ada lifted her chin. Her voice shook, but it didn't break. I have been watching my tone all my life. I kept quiet when people whispered. I kept quiet when I was sent home. I kept quiet when I lost months of learning. But I'm done being quiet. Her mother gasped softly behind her. The principal frowned. You are still a child. Yes, Ada said. That's why I'm here. Children are supposed to be protected, not erased. One of the men leaned forward. You made adult choices. Ada turned to him. And you made adult rules that punish only girls. The room stiffened. Do you know how many boys are still in your classrooms? Ada continued. Do you know how many girls disappear quietly when something like this happens? No one answered. Ada's hands trembled, so she clasped them together. I didn't come here to beg, she said. I came here because education is the only thing I have left. The principal sighed. Ada, even if we allow you back, how will you cope? Pregnancy is not easy. Ada nodded. Neither is poverty. Neither is ignorance. Neither is shame. Her teacher spoke up then, voice steady. She has been studying at home. She hasn't given up. One of the women on the board shifted uncomfortably. People will talk. They already are, Ada replied. But they will talk whether I succeed or fail. At least Ada replied. But they will talk whether I succeed or fail. At least let me succeed. Silence stretched again, longer than before. Ada felt her legs weakening, but she stayed standing. Finally, the principal spoke. We will review this and get back to you. Ada nodded once. Thank you. Outside the office, her mother grabbed her arm. Why did you speak like that? She whispered urgently. You challenged them. Ada looked at her, eyes shining. They challenged my life. Days passed without an answer. Ada returned to waiting, but this time, it felt different. She studied harder. She woke early. She spoke to her stomach as she read aloud, as if the baby could hear knowledge soaking into the air. We'll figure it out, she whispered. You and me. Then, one afternoon, the call came. Her mother answered, listened, and sank slowly into a chair. What did they say? Ada asked, heart pounding. Her mother looked up, tears in her eyes. They said, you can return. Under supervision. Ada's breath left her body in a sob. They said you'll sit at the back, her mother continued. They said if there is any distraction. I don't care, Ada said quickly. I don't care where I sit. The first day back felt like walking into fire. Every step toward the classroom echoed. Every whisper cut. Why is she back? Do they want to encourage bad behavior? She's shameless. Ada kept walking. She sat at the back, hands resting on her belly, heart racing. The chalk squeaked against the board. The teacher began the lesson like nothing had happened. For the first time in months, Ada wrote notes in class. Her hand cramped. Her back ached. Her baby kicked at the worst moments. But she stayed. Some days were brutal. Students avoided her. Some laughed openly. One girl whispered, I hope you fail. Ada went home and cried into her pillow, then wiped her face and studied. Her body grew heavier. Walking became harder. Sitting too long hurt. One afternoon, she doubled over in pain during class. Panic rippled through the room. I'm fine, she insisted, breathing through it. Please. I'm fine. The teacher watched her closely after that. Weeks later, exams arrived. Ada sat in the hall, belly round and obvious, heart hammering. The invigilator paused beside her. Are you sure you can write? She asked. Ada met her gaze. I've never been more sure of anything. She wrote until her fingers cramped. She ignored the stares. She focused on the questions, on the future waiting just beyond the paper. When the results came out, her mother held the paper with shaking hands. Ada passed. Not just passed, she did well. Her mother collapsed into a chair, crying openly for the first time without shame. You did it, she whispered. Ada smiled, exhausted and proud. We did. The baby came early. Labor was long and painful. Ada screamed, cried, begged, and cursed. Her mother held her hand the entire time. When the baby's cry filled the room, Ada sobbed harder than she ever had before. A girl. She's beautiful, her mother whispered. Ada held her daughter, overwhelmed by fear and love all at once. I'll do better, she whispered to the tiny face. I promise. Life didn't become easy after that. Ada studied with the baby strapped to her back. She missed classes sometimes. She failed some tests. She got back up. People still talked. But Ada kept moving. On graduation day, she stood in her uniform, baby in her mother's arms, certificate trembling in her hands. She looked out at the crowd and realized something. She had survived. Not because the world was kind, but because she refused to disappear. And long after the whispers faded, Ada's story remained, not as a warning, but as proof that a girl's future does not end where her mistakes begin.